Turn off your notifications, people.
Aloha, everyone. Yay.
Yay. Woo! Here we are.
So this is Mommies of Multifamily. My day. Mothers of real estate. We're mothers of real estate. See, Jillian walks into the room and I'm just like all multifamily all the time. So today we have the amazing Jillian Sidoti, but Becca, I have to go run and do one other thing. Can you take this over?
Yeah, you got it. I'm Becca Shea. I'm here with Moms of Real Estate and my favorite friends. This is my favorite hour of the week. Stephanie Betters, you said you have a question you needed answered immediately. It is burning a hole.
I need to know if I'm the only one who does this. I know this is really stupid, but like, I feel like I've had back-to-back meetings today and I've been like all crazy. Mm-hmm. And I want to know, does anybody take the time to like stir their coffee, or does everyone just freaking just pour shit in and then run out?
It depends on the day for me. Like, I get up super early in the morning. So that's such a good question. So if I'm like late I do rosary at 5:30 in the morning. So the group of women, and they're waiting for me to start the Zoom. So if I'm late, I have to have that first sip of coffee before rosary starts. I just can't even function without it. So if I'm late, I'll literally fill up the Keurig while I'm pressing start and then race to get the cup underneath. And then as that's going, I'll get the creamer out of the refrigerator and pour it, like kind of like edge it in there ever so slightly and swirl it and then throw it down my throat and call it a day. So it just depends on the day. It's a good day if I get to actually stir it.
Go get a spoon. Like that means you own the day, right?
Yeah, that's how you know if your day's gonna go well.
I feel like the bar has really gone down on owning the day.
If that's all it takes, man.
COVID-19, baby. That's what happens.
All right.
I'm wearing I used to never show up to a webinar or presentation online without being full makeup, totally dressed. I'm wearing an AC/DC hat and I think a shirt I wore yesterday. So we're going to call like being dressed a win.
Welcome to Moms of Real Estate. This is how we are. I didn't put any other makeup, so I was just like, ooh, red lipstick.
I like that. That's a tactic right there.
Everybody's got their thing. I'm wearing athletic shorts and a nice top, so you can't see the weirdness that's happening down here, but it's good from here up.
All right, ladies, I'm reining you back in.
Becca, you're going to have to do some of that today.
I get, that's what happens when you're running back to back meetings. It's like you need 5 minutes for your brain to resettle into the new topic, right?
Yep.
So Moms of Real Estate, we have our pillars of marriage, mental health, money, and
motherhood.
You always forget one.
There's some reason I can't get past 3. I think it's the motherhood part of it. And today we have Jillian. She's going to give us her story and her background. But before we get into that, why don't we go around and do a little life update? What's been going on this week in your worlds? Peely, why don't we start with you?
So I swear I had my stuff together today, but then, when you double book something. So Jason has another podcast right now with somebody important. And I was just like, well, I have Moms of Real Estate. He was like, please. I'm like, okay. So normally I have my everything. Instead I tape this up really quick. It's a map of Hawaii. And I am with my kiddos who are both
Oh, I love it.
And my oldest just got out of school. He's downstairs having his peanut butter and honey sandwich, which mommy put together really quick. And we ran up here. I'm just like, I'm gonna start. And you have to see where I'm sitting. So I'm on my daughter's like baby chair.
Okay, this is done as the new perfect. You're here.
Okay, I'm here, and I have
lipstick on.
I got started like a minute late. Yeah, so it's good. We're here. We're doing this. Well, I asked Jillian, and I can't just not show up, and let's make it happen. So this is actually the setup of this is my son's office over there. So I'm gonna show everybody. That's my son's office. That's so yeah. Okay, so that's me today.
Really, Melissa? Give us your update. What's happening in your world?
Let's see. I have Josh in town, Josh Kohler, that does all my media for me. So I have been filming videos nonstop all day yesterday, and that's in the queue for all day today.
Videos for, give us a sneak peek.
My content, just things that that I like to put out there to share to help people. So I'm doing a lot of videos this time around, kind of based on the 5-day challenge that I did, because I think those things were important and it was like good information that was already there. So it's just another way to share that. So that's what I'm doing.
And how did the 5-day challenge go? Give us the wrap up.
It was good. It was good. I think it's one of those things I want to, I was talking to my business coach about this the other day, and I think we're going to try to turn it into like a free webinar or something like that, just that I can put up on my site so that the people that weren't able to participate can just keep accessing that. It'll just be an evergreen thing, but I'll probably reshoot the videos because I was looking pretty funky a couple of days there. I think I could do better.
Nice. Awesome.
And then I got to hang out with Stephanie last week, and that was like amazing.
Oh, that's right. You guys went to the the relationship workshop. And how did that go?
Did we have fun or what?
We had so much fun. It was really great. I mean, I think like 90% of the whole thing is just being intentional and being there and thinking about your relationship and, you know, kind of reflecting back on, you know, the years that you've been together and previous relationships and kind of bringing all that into like a constructive way to talk about your marriage. It was kind of cool. So it was Gary Chapman. I'm like a total fangirl. I got my signed copy. And he's just, dude, did you know he's 82 years old?
I did know he was up there.
Holy moly. He looks like he's 60, probably because he has a good marriage. But so that was so wonderful. And he set it up that it was just really nice to talk about your marriage from kind of a, like a calm perspective, you know, like a collaborative experience. It wasn't, you know, I just really like the way he set up the discussion, and it wasn't like the marriage retreat, the movie with Jason Sudeikis or whoever that was, with the yoga. Yeah. Encouragement.
That's what he says. With a butt slap.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but it was so nice. I just loved that Melissa was there, and everyone there were business owners or entrepreneurs of some sort. So we all kind of could relate to this context of marriage in this situation. So it's really cool. People who aren't married yet, people who just got married, people who've been married 30 years plus, you know, so it was cool.
That is awesome. And how else is your week going? Is that like the highlight, the sum of your week, or is there other stuff you want to share?
That was pretty much the highlight, I think. I mean, this week kind of getting back in the saddle. Today's kind of my busy day with meetings, but just working through, you know, homeschool stuff and trying to keep all the other balls in the air, but I'm feeling pretty good.
Nice. Jillian, I'll give my update and then we'll turn the show over to you to talk for a little bit. So I'm in Vermont right now. I live in Pennsylvania normally. My husband is co-founder of an aerospace startup that they started 7 years ago, and they officially became Benchmark 5 years ago. And now they acquired a company right at the beginning of COVID. They acquired a company out in California. They have like 20 employees. So they have a board meeting quarterly. They're like legit set up for a business with a real board, like industry people and VC money and all that stuff. So he last week was like, I have to go up to Vermont for my board meeting this week. And we're on week 2 of virtual schooling. And I was like so overwhelmed about the thought of being home by myself. But I was like, can we all come? So his business partner is one of our best friends, the best man at our wedding. And they have an awesome in-law suite. So we were able to come up here and set up. And his wife, Kathy, she runs her own business. She took over her family's business, aftermarket auto accessory parts, and she's closing it down, which has been this like just journey for 5 years. She's really wanted to shut this down and move on, but didn't kind of know what the next path forward looked like. And COVID helped solidify that, let's say. So it's been really interesting to see her, to be here this week and talk about, we're going through the shutting down, but like talk about what comes next and what does the journey look like after that. And just, it's a different phase on the entrepreneurial journey, right? Than a lot of us in this happy-go-lucky beginning phase. And then that didn't work out so well. And now I need to recover a little bit and clean it all up and then think about what comes next. So that's the context for my week. But it's a great week. It's gorgeous up here. It's like the 2 weeks where Vermont is epically beautiful before it turns into frigid winter, right? Jillian, what's going on in your world? Introduce yourself to the audience. And then Keely will guide it from there. And whoever's text messaging is going off, I don't know if you can stop it, but that would be awesome.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jillian Sidoti. I am a lawyer. Hi. I have 3 kids, all boys, 12, 9, and 5. My husband is a stay-at-home dad and also a musician. I started my journey in real estate, actually in the music industry, and realized I wanted to get into the real estate industry. And so I started back in 2004. I started working on condo conversions in Southern California and started taking CCIM classes when I was just getting out of law school. And as a matter of fact, that's a picture of one of the very first properties I invested in. It's a multifamily property in Kansas. And that, like I said, that was one of the very first ones I invested in. And then I ended up practicing. I've been practicing law for the last, almost 15 years now, basically helping people figure out how to raise money specifically for their real estate deals.
Wait, it's not like you don't just like take a little turn into law. That's like a commitment.
Well, yeah.
The music industry.
Truth be told, I went to law school. I know this is going to sound really bad, but I went to law school just to do something. I know what that sounds like, but I literally applied to one law school. I didn't even really fill out the entire application. And I was sitting at my desk one day as a bookkeeper, and I was about to graduate undergrad the following week. And all I could think of was, I don't really want to get a real job. I applied to that one law school. Let me call them and see if they'll take me. And that's exactly what I did. I called them and I said, hey, I filled in an application. I didn't finish the application, so you didn't officially reject me, but I'm wondering if there's any possibility of me going to law school. And their response was, well, what were your grades? And I had really good grades in college. And what was my LSAT score? And it was pretty good. So she put me on hold and comes back on and goes, okay, if your grades are what you say they are, and your LSAT score is what you say it is, we start next week and you can join us then. And so that's what I did. And first year law school was one of the most miserable times in my life. It was awful. It was so much pressure, so much stress, paying for it, trying to work, trying to go to school. The people in law school are not the nicest people on the planet. So I dropped out after my first year and started a record label with my husband, and we toured around the country we toured around the world, really. We went to, we went across the country a couple times. We went across Canada a couple times, and we went to South Africa. My husband was like huge in South Africa at the time. So we did all this stuff. And you know what? At the end of the day, we had nothing to show for it. I mean, he opened for like these really huge bands, and we were making no money. It's like, that is an industry of feast or famine. There is no, in between, really. And so at that time I was like, I'm gonna
favorite band to open for?
A band called Sum 41, Foo Fighters. He was really into like harder music at the time. Cheap Trick, Seven Dust. I'm trying to think of who else. Like there was a bunch of them, just like little shows here. Yeah. Yeah. So, but in South Africa, he got to play in front of like, he played these festivals in front of like 50,000 people. It was really awesome. That was like, if you want your ego fed, just be on stage with a band that's playing in front of 50,000 people, and your ego will be set for life. But ego doesn't pay the bills. So I got my butt back in law school. But even when I got back in law school, I was like, I I do not want to be a lawyer. I have no intention of setting foot into a courtroom or anything like that. And so I started asking around. I literally put a resume out to every single real estate investment firm in Southern California. I'm originally from Boston, but I came out to California to take the California bar exam. And I gave my resume to anybody who would take it in San Diego that was a real estate investment firm, and said, I will do whatever you need me to do. I'll answer your phones, I'll file. And I had a degree in finance. So I was like, I'll do your books, whatever you need me to do, I will do it just to learn real estate. That's all I want to do. And so this company hired me, and I ended up becoming like their CFO, and just started, doing all the financing, getting the bank loan, getting the private money investors, getting everything. And we did some really big projects. If you want to learn everything you need to know about real estate, go into condo conversions, because it's every single area of real estate in one fell swoop. It's buying an apartment building, remapping the apartment building, taking it down to the studs, then redoing every single unit, and then selling each unit off individually. And my God, I learned so much. It was
So I went to school I lived in Boston in Somerville.
Yeah.
They have all those old brick. I want to do a conversion, a warehouse conversion so bad.
So
I'm very excited.
That's where my husband's from. My husband lived in Somerville his entire life until we moved
in the Ville.
Yeah. So we lived on like near the Davis Square area, right?
Yes. Love Davis Square.
Yeah. So then we moved out here, and after, so the crash, when we were doing the condo conversions, we could see the crash coming. Like, we just could see it. And so we started selling every single property just as fast as we could, because people were already getting foreclosed on in 2006 before the real crash happened. So by the beginning of 2007, we didn't have any properties left. We were done. And we're like, we're not buying anything. No, we're done. We're going to just sit on the sidelines. And that's how I started practicing law, because I had no more real estate things to do. So I just kind of turned it and started helping people with their deals. And now, and with COVID, one of the fundamental flaws I've seen in my business is that, everybody in my office, including myself, was trading time for money, right? It really depended on us working. And, and my entire office at this point, with the exception of one guy, is women, all moms. Every single person's a mom. They all have like the same thing we're all dealing with together. They have the issue of like homeschooling kids. And so my partner and I, Nancy Tegeter and I, were like, we just got to change this for everybody. And so everybody works from home now. We're not going back to the office. We've told everybody, I gave everybody an extra week vacation, like, use it however you want. It's a use it or lose it proposition. I want them all to use it, because I really feel like if you rest and reset, you become back a better employee. So I'm not paying you if you don't take the vacation. You're required to take the vacation. So we did that, told everybody, you have flexible hours, just get the work done. I don't care if you work at midnight. I don't care if you work at noon. The work's just got to get done. And if you have little kid things to do in the morning, do your little kid things in the morning, or whatever. You got to drive your kid to whatever appointment they have, drive your kid to whatever appointment you have, because this is a whole new environment. And then the other thing we started doing, I said to everybody, I'm investing in real estate. You guys are going to run this place, and I'm going to buy more real estate. Like, I already had a lot of real estate, but I'm just like, we are going to get ready for the next downturn. This entire firm is getting ready for the next downturn. And I'm going to teach all of you how to buy real estate, because all of you need another bucket other than trading your time for money.
Okay, so if I was just starting real estate, and this is me coming as a real estate coach as well, I would totally go to Jillian, like right now. I go to Jillian and be like, Jillian, teach me everything, because Jillian knows how to do real estate. She knows how. I mean, Becca, we've been talking about this, ladies. We've been talking about this. How we all like switched everything, and how we need to be the masters of our future, what we're doing. So what Jillian did with her law firm is exactly what, if anybody's listening right now and you have a 9-to-5 or you have a job that you're doing, you need to go to your boss. If your boss hasn't done exactly what Jillian has done, this is a new world. We need to do exactly what Jillian did for our employees. We need to revamp everything and give them the flexibility within parameters. Jillian has basically outlined everything. So before I keep on gushing about Jillian, what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about motherhood? Do you want to talk about money? Do you want to talk about murder? Oh wait, no. We took
murder off the table. That's for the private conversations. The Facebook,
not on Facebook or wherever we're at. So money, motherhood, marriage, and which one am I forgetting today?
Mental health.
We cannot put ourselves on recorded live video, just so you know.
I have to say, I love this concept. I mean, and Peely, I have another partner named Jeff Holst, and he's also a real estate entrepreneur. And we run another group called Last Life Ever. And we talk about which is not real estate related at all. And we talk about all these things that are so important. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think you can have one without the other. I mean, if you have motherhood, you need to have all those other things, to me. Mm-hmm. You have to take care of all those other things as much, because not taking care, I didn't have a money issue. I had the way I thought about money issue. Does that make sense? Yeah. And that very much adversely affected my mommyhood, because I was so worried about.
More about that. That sounds.
Yeah. Well, because, okay, it's like, I have money, I have a lot of money, but what if I don't have enough money? Let me go get more money. Right? So that's a mental health issue and a money issue. And COVID-19 completely changed the way I think about those things, and made me start focusing on, all right, I have to take myself out of the equation and turn on some kind of money machine, and that's where you get real estate. That's where you get all the things. And it's not like multifamily is what I focus on, I guess you could say, but I'm invested in all the things. And I think everybody should be invested in all the things except office, all the things.
So tell us how you started then. Tell us, your first deal. How did you get money for your first deal? How you springboarded from there, and now how are you raising money and SEC guidelines and all this?
Sure. So the first deal I ever did, obviously I did all the condo conversions. And so, and those were all multifamily deals that, we emptied the building and took over or whatever. And the big thing was, back in those days, you could leverage. You could get as much bank financing as you wanted. And then I'd have to go to a couple of investors and ask them for money. As far as, other deals, like the very first deals I kind of gravitated towards were single family flips in Southern California. Because at the time, the market was good for that, because it was the bottom of the market. So you could pick up deals real cheap. Like my partners and I picked up a Hollywood Hills property for $500,000. And if you know anything about the Hollywood Hills, it's really expensive property up there. So we got a foreclosure for super cheap, and we're able to flip that. One of the best deals I ever did was with my friend Stacy. She found a property in Santa Barbara that was half burnt down, and it had a view of the ocean, and she picked it up for $400,000 and put $100,000 into it. And if you guys don't know anything about Santa Barbara, there's nothing in Santa Barbara that's, less than $1 million. So that turned out to be a really good deal. But then if you're starting out, the thing I would start out in, if you're I don't have a lot of money, I'm not sure I really want to raise money. I don't know what to really do. The place where I would get my feet wet is start with somebody who knows how to buy notes, because there's no asset there is an asset. It's a paper asset, right? Is that Melissa all about the notes? Yeah, it's a paper asset. And if you can find a good person who's knows where to look for them, and then you can kind of latch on to that and say, hey, I'll come up with some with my own cash, and I'll tell me where to look, and I'll bring you the deals or whatever, bird dog for somebody. To me, that's the easiest, fastest way to get into this industry, without, having an asset that could potentially deteriorate, or there's obviously an underlying asset. But to me, I bought a lot of notes early on, and those turned out really great. And I bought them with a partner in Ohio who, he basically used some of my money, and we went through the deal and we figured out what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. And he got super creative. As a matter of fact, I got a reward from like some Ohio real estate association for having a creative note deal. And I'm like, it got sent to me in the mail. I was like, what is this for? And they're like, oh, you did a creative note deal. I'm like, okay. That works. So for me, notes is really great. But also, you asked the question about how to raise money. And the thing about raising money is this: it's all about who knows, likes, and trusts you. And if you don't have that, you have nothing. So you can create people knowing, liking, and trusting you. And I think, Melissa, were you the one who's saying you had somebody out there, recording you this week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, that to me, that makes my heart sing, because that's really what you want to do, is be providing content and letting people know what it is you're up to. And it's all these little pieces of information, like this program right here, little pieces of information that are going to ingrain that know, like, and trust into people's brains, so that when you are finally ready with your offer, people don't even have to think twice, because they already know, like, and trust you. The returns aren't going to matter.
That's 100% true. And I was just talking to my business coach about that too earlier this week, because I'm launching a coaching business, or I have launched one, but it's really new. And that came from COVID also. But that was something we were talking about. And we were talking about, just like who you're targeting and like what people want, and like creating those offers and things. And what I have noticed is by talking to all these people, because like exactly what you said, people know, like, and trust you, because I've been putting out content for a long time now. And I know Peely puts out a ton of content too, and Becca does stuff, and Stephanie does stuff. And it was like, once I started talking to people, that wasn't even a question. They never questioned my credibility or anything. That didn't even come up. It's pretty much always just been like, where do I sign up? What's the next step? What do I need to do? I'm excited. Let's go. And I didn't have to spend all this time trying to convince people that I knew what I was doing, just because if you are providing that and people like you, and I think that applies to a lot of things, just in your business and like raising money and just all those different areas.
Absolutely. And yeah, and any mamas out there who are like, I want to get into real estate, but I don't know what to do. The thing, and I don't know anything yet, you just start talking about what you just learned. Like, this is how you start, right? And you keep like almost like a rolling diary on Facebook or LinkedIn of what you're learning. And this again is going to ingrain in people. And I'm telling you, every single person who's ever raised money out there, this is how they've done it, right? There was something that made you know, like, and trust the person. So for example, one of my biggest clients with the law firm is Grant Cardone. And he has these big funds where he goes out and says, hey, if you want to invest with me now. But if he just did that on its own, it would not work. He had 6 million followers on Facebook alone at the time that he started doing these funds. And when he started doing that call to action, the predecessor to all of that was, let me tell you how to get in real estate. This is what I've learned about real estate. This is why I invest in Class A multifamily, blah, blah, blah. He fed his crowd way before he did the call to action. So even if you don't have a deal, don't want to get investors in, you should be planning for your future right now by putting out that content. Like, if you learn something from this right here, tag Mothers of Real Estate, tag it, say, I couldn't believe what I heard, like what all the ladies were saying, like it's this nugget of information is going to change the way I do my business. And just put stuff out like that, because you never know who's watching.
Well, and the interesting thing too is like you'll encounter this resistance from people who know you well to begin with, because they've already put you in this box in their mind, right? Like, this is who you are, Peely. You're not someone else. And so especially if you take them on the journey with you, of evolving into this new version of yourself, then you automatically have overcome that. It's not a shock to them where you're like, secret identity, I invest in multifamily. It's like, oh no, you've been on this whole journey with me. This is crazy. Look how far you've come.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I just have so many clients. I have clients who have been with me since the day I, left the real estate firm and started my law firm. And I've seen how they've grown and, went from raising no money to tens of millions of dollars. Like I have one client right now, I'm working on a deal for them and they're on their third $20 million fund. And when they met me 8 years ago, they had never raised a dollar. As a matter of fact, the people who did this deal behind me is a father and son team out of Kansas. And they're on, so they did this deal, another deal, and then they started naming their deals Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, blah, blah, blah. So they're on Echo now. So they've now done 5 funds and a bunch of other buildings. And they had done nothing before. And they literally came to me and said, hey, I don't know. We don't know how to get started. Where do we go? What do we do? Blah, blah, blah. And they just started putting out newsletters and information of things that they learned. Most humble guys you will ever meet, very unassuming, and yet they're building this massive multifamily portfolio with other people's money too. So I'm telling you, anybody can do this. It's just a matter of how.
I have a follow-up question to your.
Yeah, go ahead. No,
notes
sorry, I tend to go off. I'm sorry. You can stop me.
Well, I've just been thinking about this, right? This notes investing, which is not the route I started in, but I'm fascinated by it. I love the art of the deal and stuff. Would it be realistic to go to someone and say, who does notes investing, say, teach me, I'll bird dog for you, but I want 5% ownership of this note? Is that how you would?
Well, let me flip that on you for a second before I answer. What's it hurt to ask? They're going to, the worst they're going to do is say no.
Yeah.
And I learned that from the music industry because you get rejected all the time in the music industry. So.
Yeah, I guess it's funny because wholesaling and rehabbing, bird dogging, it's like, I'd give you a flat fee or whatever. And I'm thinking, that'd be cool to get a % ownership of a note. And honestly, if the deal's good enough, what do they care if they give you 5%?
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Yeah, no. And I think that's a great way. I mean, people bag on wholesalers all the time, but it's a great way to kind of get started and learn the industry. And, you're going to make a fool out of yourself, but who cares? My partner, Charlie, who's the partner with me in Multifamily War Room, this weekend, he did we had this event and he did this whole thing about, what if I make an offer that's too low for the broker? Is the broker gonna be mad at me? And he's like, no, the broker's not gonna be mad at you. Just make the offer. You're not gonna get a deal if you don't make offers. And it's same concept.
So I have another follow-up question because you touched on how COVID made you pivot everything. So when I first met Jillian, we had sushi after a huge conference and I found out she had 3 kids and she was there alone. I was like, how do you do that? Because I had to bring my kids with me to the conference and I had to fly my parents over and then finding out that, you're now pivoting. So what made, and we're coming up on, we have about 8 minutes left. So what made you want to pivot? Because I saw you and I'm just like, Jillian is who I want to be. I want to grow up and be Jillian.
Now she's being someone else.
Yeah, well, talk about mental health. Okay, ladies, I'm just going to show you right now. I started going to a therapist during COVID. I've never been to a therapist in my life, and she's got me doing this huge book about self-mastery and anyhow, and this helped tremendously. Just going to therapy and trying to figure out, what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be, and what do I really want to be. I really want to be a good mom, a great mom. That's really what I want to be. And I want to leave a legacy and I want to take care of all the charitable endeavors I want to take care of, so that's what I want to be. But one thing we can't do is get wrapped up in an identity. So I can't identify as a lawyer, or I can't identify as a real estate investor, or, even a mom or a wife or whatever. I just have to be whatever I am at that time. And so right now, what I want to be and how I want to show up is being a great mom and to a certain extent, a public servant, right? So, and a good wife. I shouldn't leave that part out because that's tremendously important. And none of this would happen if I didn't have an amazing husband, right? So, but I want to be, I want to be those things that make me believe I'm a good person, and that I'm showing up the way I'm supposed to show up in the lives of the people that I'm supposed to show up in. And being an amazing attorney isn't part of that. I can provide great legal works and great legal documents, and I've trained the attorneys who work with me to continue doing that, and we will continue providing those services because they're abundantly important to make sure that your business works in the right direction, but in different ways for other people.
I think that's evolution for sure. I think there's that part of your life that you're battling all the different identities that you're trying to master, and then you get to a point where you're like, nope, I'm going to delegate everything, and it's going to have to go on without me actively involved in every single weed and every single day-to-day item. You know what I mean?
No, and it's work. I mean, and honestly, if you give people the tools to do the right things, they will rise to the occasion. Every single one of my employees, in a time where we're seeing people shrink back, cut back, take away, cut people's salaries or lay people off. I've given my employees more vacation time. I've given them bonuses, and I'm giving them raises, all in this time, just without fear, knowing that they'll rise to the occasion, and they have every single time.
I think there's something that, I don't know, I've battled with that this year with saying no and trying to decide what my priorities are in life. And because I speak for myself that I've sacrificed way too much over the years with my family and with my mental health and everything, right? I put all that to the side to build a business, and I was really, really scared to stop doing that and to really be true to my core values. Like you said, I want to show up and I want to be a really, really good wife and a really, really good mom. And then serving others is of course part of that, but that is the most important thing to me. And it's funny, there's so much fear with being okay, that's what I'm going to do and focus. But I have not had more success in my career until I did that. I swear that what you put out into the universe, and when you align yourself right and you align your core values with what really, really matters, everything kind of turns to the right people are attracted to you, your employees do better. It's just kind of funny how the universe speaks back and rewards you for that alignment, even though it's so scary, right?
Super scary. Don't I don't know. I've learned so much in the last 6 months about myself and about people around me, and giving, and also a huge thing that I was very bad about, super bad. And I know you guys are running out of time, but I could talk about this for all day long. So you probably shouldn't invite me on ever again because I'll just keep talking. But one of the things that I learned that I was really bad at, and I'm getting so much better about, is boundaries. Putting up the proper boundaries with the right people. I was putting boundaries up with my kids instead of putting boundaries up with my clients. Sure, you can call me on Sunday. No big deal. I'm totally available at 7:30 at night. Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll get up at 3:30 in the morning because you're on the East Coast and that's what's convenient for you, and talk to you on the phone. Stuff like that. And then finally I was like, why am I doing that? So I can make an extra $10,000? That doesn't make any sense. So I've just kind of started putting boundaries together. And guess what? That's not only benefited me and my family, that's benefited every single one of my employees, because now my employees don't feel like they have to take on every client or deal with every issue or, kowtow to every single person who gets angry at some situation. And we don't get that a lot, but I was terrible about putting boundaries up. So it's huge. Look at that. Peely's back in her office.
Nice. She was allowed to go back. I love this because, I feel like we're also talking about seasons of our life. and different things. Like there's some maturity and wisdom that has to happen before you can evolve into the next place, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be, I think if you're 22 and you're like, I'm not putting up boundaries with anyone, right? Or like, or clients, I'm not going to see you right now. Like you kind of have to go through that season to get to this season and to understand the importance of it. And also I was talking to my husband's business partner last night. We were just chatting about life, and we're all coming up on 40 next year. And we're like, and now it seems like this is happening. I was like, you know what the funny thing is? We all only go through this path once. So we think like everything feels new and wonderful and amazing to us when we get to that phase. But the reality is we're all going to go through these phases just at different times. And, you had to, before you could really start putting up boundaries, you had to get to a point of being financially secure and, to allow you to then put up boundaries with your clients so you can be more open for your kids.
Right. Yeah. No. And I do think I could have done a better job until I got to this point. But at the end of the day, you got to wonder, how much money do I really need? And I don't want to get all weird on you guys or super religious, but I really do believe that if you are doing the right thing, God will provide. At some point in time, you can never give away too much money to charity. So if you're like about to write that check and you're like taking a deep breath, let all the air out and just put the signature line on the check and send it to wherever it's supposed to go, because you can never outgive God.
I love that. And I think that's a great way to end everything. If you can hear, I got the kiddo in the background wanting my love. So Jillian, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, just ending with all the gratitude, and you cannot outgive God. That is fantastic. Ladies, I'm actually going to pop out and take care of the kiddo. So I'm going to let one of the ladies shut us down. All the gratitude to everybody who's listening. Aloha.
Aloha.
Melissa, you want to take us out on this one? Man,
I did it last time. Well, thank you again, Jillian. That was awesome. Wow. I love everything that you said.
Oh,
and I feel like we all learned a lot, right?
Yeah. I love the very
and it was just great hanging out with everybody, and I appreciate it. Yeah, that got weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. We're good. Don't make me do this, Becca.
Okay. I'm
already shooting.
I don't know if it's my internet or your internet, but Jillian, thanks so much for taking time with us. I feel like after every guest Keely brings on, I'm like, can we be friends forever? And then I remember that I need to set boundaries because I already am overwhelmed with life. So I'm going to pretend like I'm going to follow up with you and we're going to hang out and we're going to be best friends. But just know that I think we're all kindred spirits on this call, and we appreciate you coming to talk with us.
You can friend request me on Facebook. Let's be Facebook friends.
Yes, let's do that. That's so low commitment. I can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, ladies, love you. Go have an awesome weekend.
Bye.
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 Thanks. See you guys soon.
Keely has to actually end this broadcast. So if anybody's sticking around, it's just going to be black for a while.